All right. So, when most people think about the Maldives, they just kind of picture like those perfect postcards.
Yeah.
The fancy resorts, overwater bungalows,
Mhm.
that sort of thing.
The super luxury
Yeah.
kind of vibe, yeah.
But the sources you sent me this time about the Maldives are actually highlighting something completely different, like a whole different way to experience the islands.
Yeah, and it really goes deeper than the typical tourist stuff.
Okay.
It's all about getting a more authentic connection with the the local culture and also with the underwater world, but beyond just like the usual spots.
So it's like a deep dive in a deep dive.
I like that.
So we're going deep.
Layers.
Yeah, exactly. So the sources focus on this organization called the Deep Blue.
Yeah.
And there are two people at the heart of it, Umi and Hassan.
Right.
And it seems like their story is really intertwined with this whole idea of experiencing the Maldives differently. So, can you tell me more about them? Like what sparked this whole Deep Blue venture?
Yeah. So Umi's story is really interesting. She actually visited the Maldives a couple times before.
Okay.
But her first two trips were kind of the classic Maldives experience.
Sure.
She stayed at private resorts.
Right.
And then she did a live aboard diving trip.
Sure.
But it sounds like neither of those trips really captured her heart.
Huh.
It wasn't until 2022 that she went back to the Maldives, this time to Mafushi,
Oh, God.
which is a local island.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like a totally different experience for her.
Yeah, I mean, for people who have that picture in their heads of those idyllic resorts,
Right.
what does a stay on a local island actually look like?
So it's a really big difference. You see the resort experience is very curated, very self-contained.
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of in this bubble of luxury and privacy.
Yeah.
But on a local island, you get a much more authentic glimpse into the everyday lives of Maldivians. You see their traditions, you interact with the environment in a much more direct way.
So you're kind of stepping outside that resort bubble.
Exactly. You're staying in smaller guest houses, you're eating at local restaurants,
Right.
and you're actually getting to know the community.
So it's like a much more immersive experience.
Yes, much more. You really get a deeper understanding of the Maldives as a place.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
So it sounds like this wasn't just like a passing thing for Umi, this trip to Malfushi.
No, it really had a profound impact on her.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like she felt really strongly that more people should experience the Maldives this way.
And what about Umi herself? Like outside of her travels, what's her background?
Well, this is interesting. She's actually a tax professional
Wow.
based in Singapore.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
so very different from ocean exploration.
Totally different.
But it's clear that her real passion is the ocean.
Yeah.
She's a really dedicated scuba diver and free diver.
Mm-hmm.
And she's also an amazing underwater photographer and videographer. You can find her work on Instagram. She's at Venture Abroad.
So she's not just experiencing the underwater world, she's like documenting it and sharing it.
Exactly. She's bringing that world to people through her photos and videos.
So how did this love for the ocean and these local island experiences lead her to create the Deep Blue?
Well, it seems like she really wanted to share that magic of the ocean with other people.
Okay.
So she started an Instagram account called @the Deep Blue Maldives.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of naturally grew into the organization we know as the Deep Blue.
Huh.
And their mission is to offer what they call the Deep Blue experience,
Okay.
which isn't just about like adventure and exploration.
Mm-hmm.
They also really emphasize marine education.
I see.
So they want to go beyond just like showing you pretty fish and coral.
Yeah.
They want you to really understand and appreciate the whole underwater ecosystem.
And that makes a lot of sense considering Umi's background coming from that kind of analytical world and then falling in love with this completely different environment.
Yeah, it's a really cool blend of adventure and education.
So let's talk about Hassan now.
Okay.
How does he fit into this whole story?
So Hassan's connection to the Maldives is super deep-rooted.
Okay.
He's actually from Razu Island.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been fascinated by the ocean and marine life, basically his whole life.
Wow.
So it's kind of inevitable that he would become a diver.
Yeah.
And he's now a certified Patey open water scuba instructor.
That's awesome.
He also shares his passion on Instagram. He's at Dive Junkie.
So we've got Umi, who discovered this love for the local Maldives.
Yes.
And then we have Hassan, who's basically lived and breathes it his whole life.
Exactly. Two very different perspectives,
Mm-hmm.
but both rooted in this deep love for the ocean.
And for Hassan, diving isn't just a job. It's more than that, right?
Yeah. He sees it as a way to connect with people
Mm-hmm.
and to experience this really profound sense of joy and peace.
Okay.
He's known in the diving community for being super positive and welcoming.
So he brings this really like human element to the diving experience.
Yeah, it's not just about seeing the marine life, it's about sharing that experience with others.
And at the Deep Blue, he's a co-owner and a trip leader.
Right.
So he's the one actually guiding people on these underwater adventures.
Exactly. He leads divers of all levels.
Okay.
You know, from beginners to more experienced divers.
So it's really cool how Umi and Hassan's strengths complement each other.
Yeah, it's a really powerful partnership.
So we've talked about the founders.
Mm.
Now let's talk about the Deep Blue as an organization.
Okay.
What are their values?
So they really see themselves as more than just a tour operator.
Okay.
They describe their team as a community of ocean lovers,
Right.
expert divers,
Mm-hmm.
and marine advocates.
Got it.
They say they have a deep respect for the sea,
Okay.
and their mission is twofold:
Okay.
exploring and protecting the ocean.
I like that.
So they're clearly committed to responsible and sustainable tourism.
Yeah, that's so important these days.
Yeah, for sure.
And they also talk about making every dive unforgettable and keeping the spirit of adventure alive.
Yeah, they really want to create these really impactful experiences for people.
And they even offer discounts for pre-booked fun dives.
Yeah, they want to encourage people to get out there and experience the underwater world.
So where are they based?
Their location is Deep Maldives.
All right.
It's right in the heart of the local island community.
And even like little details on their website, you know, like the copyright. It says copyright 2025,
Right.
which means they're an established organization.
Yeah, they're looking ahead to the future.
And their website has a welcome announcement about checking their upcoming trip schedule.
Yes, so they're actively inviting people to join them.
So let's go back to Umi and Hassan for a second.
Okay.
They met on Digura Island and hit it off right away.
Yes, it sounds like they had this instant connection.
Yes, because of their shared passion for the ocean.
Exactly.
So how do their individual strengths really play out in the Deep Blue?
Well, Umi brings her perspective as an outsider who fell in love with the local Maldives.
Right.
She also has the business skills from her background as a tax professional.
Mm.
And she's clearly driven to share her passion with others.
And Hassan brings his lifelong knowledge of the Maldivian waters,
Exactly.
his diving expertise,
Yeah.
and his ability to connect with people. It's like they bridge this gap between the outsider's perspective and the local experience.
Yeah, it's a really cool dynamic.
So for someone like me who likes to really delve into a topic,
Mm-hmm.
the Deep Blue offers a completely different way to see the Maldives.
Yeah, it's about going beyond the surface.
Right.
Connecting with the environment and the culture on a much deeper level.
So to recap, Umi discovered the beauty of the local Maldives after initially experiencing the more typical resort side of things, and that really sparked a passion in her to share that experience with others. And then she meets Hassan, right,
Who's this incredible diver who grew up in the Maldives.
and knows the waters like the back of his hand.
Exactly. And together they create the Deep Blue,
Yep.
which offers this really unique perspective on Maldivian tourism.
Yeah, it's all about genuine engagement with the underwater world and the local way of life.
It's amazing how personal experience and local expertise can come together like that.
It really is.
So here's a final thought for you.
Okay.
Umi started with those resort experiences, but she ultimately found a much deeper appreciation for the Maldives when she discovered the local islands.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes you wonder, what could we discover if we all stepped off the beaten path a little more?
That's a great question.
You know, what hidden gems are we missing when we stick to those well-worn tourist trails?
Yeah, maybe the most enriching experiences are out there waiting for us if we just look a little further.
Food for thought.
Definitely.
Thanks for another great deep dive.
A pleasure.
Until next time.
See you then.